The reality is, in a World Championships, if you want to medal individually, you can't have a bad session. That just doesn't happen. I'll not lie and say it's, that it doesn't cross your mind when you're having bad sessions, and I know that I'm costing the team points. On balance, one of my strong points is that I'm very stubborn. I do have the ability to draw a line under it and treat every day and every session as a new one. If anything, bad sessions just make me angry. So today's the Vicdessos, or as I keep calling it, the Vicdessos, which it's not pronounced like that, I've been told by an irate Frenchman. So the Vicdessos is the herder of the venues by all accounts, less fish.
Yeah, good?
Yes.
Happy with the beat?
Yeah, it was good. It's all good water, to be honest, but it's quite long again. It's probably about 300 and something metres. It's all very similar water. There's an island in the middle. I'm going to aim to be there at the halfway point if I can. Depends if I'm catching anything that measures or not, but on the surface it looks good. We didn't throw out a lot of numbers yesterday. I think the overall session was won by 10 yesterday, so it's not loads of fish, and that's for 4 hours of fishing, not 2, so we'll just see. I think there's loads of undersized fish in this river, like 19.8s, 19.9s, and you just don't get those, so we'll see. See what happens.
Does that slightly help the mentality if you know that you're going not for big numbers?
Well, if the bar's lower, it means that you don't have to panic quite as much if it's not going right, straight away. So we'll just see. Got to catch the first one first, and then see what happens after that. So
2 rods, you say?
yeah, I'm gonna set 2 rods up. I'm gonna fish the double nymph and the dry dropper. Then we're gonna move 2 rods. I'm not gonna bother with my dry fly rod. It's the kind of water where I can fish the dry pretty well off the dry dropper rig, so I'm just not going to mess about with that. I'm going to carry 2 rods, start at the bottom, just try and make one good clean pass through it all and see what happens. Just like that.
Go! I started off, the beat looked good. I started off right at the bottom, working upstream, shallow water, mid-river through into a half decent looking pocket, nothing special. Got a nice fish almost straight away, so I thought, considering this is going to be difficult, or has been, marked as being one of the more difficult venues, that's a good start. But it really didn't get a lot better from me. I fished well, I fished clean and careful and at range, and I wasn't spooking anything to the best of my knowledge. I never saw any fish that I'd spooked. I saw very little in the way of fish life, and I fished into some really, really nice water where I would have sworn there would be something and got nothing. So it was tough and a lot harder than I expected. I got up towards the sort of top of the beat, and I found some slightly, what looked like better water, but it all looked good, which was part of the problem with a lot of these venues. And interestingly, when I look back, one of the things that had been said to us was, and this was by people who'd fished there, they said, it all looks good, but for some reason, some of it has nothing in it. And you can't work out, we've not been able to work out any discerning reason or definitive reason why this piece has a fish and that piece doesn't. But quite often when you find one, you'll find more than one. But the fish dispersion is really patchy for no obvious reason. And that was the case. That seemed to me to be the case on that one. I fished a lot of very good water for practically no action.
You finished?
Wasn't too bad. Not too bad. 2 lost 1. Not too unhappy with that. 4 was a half decent score yesterday, and I've still got another 2 hours left. So we'll see. I had 1 other chance, but not bad. I got the whole thing finished, which is what I wanted to do. and fished it well most of the time. Had a little funny patch down there, but yeah, not too unhappy with that, so we'll see.
When you're going into a session that you know is going to be hard, it means that you have to fish really tight and you have to maximise all of your chances, and that's where when I go back and do those little training days with some of the team, especially the guys who are new, you know, I really preach to them about always controlling the line at the back end, making sure that, you know, you're always getting good contact as soon as you put the fly in, especially when you're nymph fishing. Because all of those little things which a lot of people, even people who sort of peg themselves as really high level competition anglers, sometimes some of them don't do it, and it's a big sort of, you know, it's a big giveaway. You're giving away a lot of chances by not doing it. So yeah, there's a lot more pressure on every single fish, but it also makes the target a little bit lower. So, you know, I don't think it's always a bad thing having hard fishing. In this case, it kicked me a little bit. I think over the 2 sessions, I had the hook in 7 fish, of which I landed 2, and I lost 5. Various reasons. Some of them came off immediately when I hooked them. They jumped through the hook. No way I could keep tension because I was fishing tight and controlled. They just came out, landed funny, hook came out. I did have one that actually jumped through a bramble when I hooked it from memory and fouled me up and came off. And I lost one right at the rim of the net that I hooked very, very close. The worst thing you can do when you lose a fish is to go out, fish badly and lose another one. So I always try and write it off, and I'm quite good at it now. I can sort of click back into fishing and forget about it. A lost fish is a lost fish, that's it. There's no point beating yourself up over it. The second session was a herder again, very, very overhung, big boulders, fast water, a lot of sort of bedrock, and I think I maybe had one good chance up there, if that. Really, really tough. And we knew it would be. Those fish all cost me heavily.
Why the fuck they came off with an awning they were on. The hooks were good. They were on dry fly hooks with a needle fucking start. Struck them well. I mean, I couldn't really have fished that any better. About the limit of my abilities that.
Yeah.
That was 3.
That's
3 good measurers. It's the difference between 5 and 2. 5 would have been a decent score. 2 will be at the bottom of the pack.
So I think the reality is, if in a World Championships, if you want to medal individually, you can have a bad session. That just doesn't happen. If you have a bad session, your chances of a medal have already deteriorated significantly. So from the first session, that bad first start, you know, any hopes of winning it individually are probably very, very, very slim, you know, to impossible, and a chance of any colour of medal is unlikely. You know, it's not impossible, you know, it depends on how hard the fishing is, but there's always going to be a handful of anglers who will have a combination of very good draws, they'll fish very well, they'll have a little bit of luck when they need it, like we all need, and they'll come out on top and they'll keep it going for 5 days and they'll get there, you know, and they'll do it. But from a team perspective, every single team that gets on that podium at the end of the competition, somebody in that team will have had a bad championships or will have had bad draws. Quite a lot of them will have had bad draws where they've not fished as well as they expected to. So from a team perspective, even with, you know, bad draws and bad results, there's still always a chance to recover a lot of ground. At the level that we're fishing, it's very hard. You do need good results and good consistent results. The best teams are the most consistent. So yeah, I'll not lie and say You know that it doesn't cross your mind when you're having bad sessions, and I know that I'm costing the team points, and of anybody in the team, you know, I should be the one that's sort of saving us more points. So I always personally feel that I've let the team down to some degree when I've had bad results. On balance, one of my strong points is that I'm very stubborn, and I do have the ability to draw a line under it and treat every day and every session as a new one. You know, if anything, bad sessions just make me angry and make me want to fish harder and snatch some points back. You know, because I'm a competitive person like everybody is in this.
James, what James has done today, having been up halfway up the mountain, came back down with no matchbox because he fell over in a big hole and lost it.
A complete box of lake flies.
Big box of flies that's taken us 2 days to make, so everyone's now cranking away replacing them.
Instead of sleeping. Sorry.
Sorry, just to clarify, James has lost your entire box of lake flies.
Yes, he has.
We had 2 boxes.
Yeah.
I had
That's
one.
James, not me, that's James.
But remember, there's no I in team,
And what you got to say about
but
it?
there is a U in team.
Sorry.
Do you say, was that on the way up or down?
It's like at the top
So you
during
did.
the first session.
So how did you get on today then?
I got 9 fish, 7th place.
Yeah, and how did you manage to catch it without the lake box?
With the ants in my river box.
I'm going to bed very soon because I need sleep more than I need flies.
Howard, can I trouble you for a day 2 sit rep?
Not really.
So do you think
How many?
have we given the opposition the fly box, do you think?
Probably.
They're probably sat up there going,
Who's that?
English flies.
Better give a bum back tomorrow.
Looking half asleep at blobs like, oh, that's definitely English.
Will not have moved in the right direction particular, let's put it that way. So we'll probably have stayed where we are or gone down even a little bit, I don't know. Scott's done well. James has done alright, apart from losing the late box. Tony might have done alright. Me and Sean's had a bad day.
Just one more long night ahead now then.
It is going to be, it won't be, I'm going to have to go to
Early
bed
for me.
'cause I've got a lot of walking to do tomorrow, so, and I'm old, so I need a bit of, I need some sleep.
So today I'm on one of the sets of the high lakes. We're fishing a number of different lakes, all at high altitude, and the big difference to a normal lake competition is that we have to hike between every 1 hour's fishing.
Is the high one? Is the high one? Is that one of the high ones?
I think.
In a normal lake competition, you'll all go to a big lake, it'll be the same lake, you'll fish for an hour, hour and a half, and then you'll move positions on that lake. In this one, we're actually hiking between different lakes. Now on some lakes there'll only be 2 anglers, some lakes there might be 4, but we're all spread out across a network of high altitude mountain lakes. 4 AM start, coach drive, and then an hour and a half of hiking up a mountain, basically with all your gear.
where is it?
Take a breather. Move. Canny fishing comp.
Had anything like this at Worlds before?
Nope. Well, Finland once. River's then a big valley. Had to hike in, hike back.
And then when you've got there, You've got to rig all your gear in the time you've got, and then you've got to calm yourself down enough from literally flogging yourself up a mountain to fish, you know,
Brutal.
0.9 and 0.10 diameter tippet and fish dries and not strike too fast because you can see them coming through the clear water, and be nice and stealthy. And you've got to really calm yourself down, and that takes a lot. And it's something some people just struggle with because you've got all the adrenaline from the fishing, all the adrenaline from the fact you're in a big world championships, the adrenaline from climbing up a big mountain, and then you've got to calm it all right down and fish tiny dries on thin line.
Do you know what you'll be fishing with?
Well, there's rising fish. I'm going to put the dries on and I'm going to set 4 rods up, but mainly it's going to be a dry and probably a single nymph approach. It's going to be really, really spooky, so shallow. I'm playing risky games this morning. 0.11 tippet on a 6 weight is not a match made in heaven.
How come it's worth the risk? What are you thinking?
It's very, very clear, flat water. The wind keeps going. So I don't want to end up having to re-rig my leader and re-taper it and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to go with 11 from the start. If I have to cut it back, so be it.
I'll be honest, it was fantastic fishing. I just absolutely loved it. I mean, if that was at home, despite the hike, I would probably be up there all the time. You know, crystal clear water, you can see them cruising, and just really interesting technical fishing. I got off to a decent start as well. I think I missed a fish almost straight away, and then I got one the very next cast, just fishing dries, thin line, 5 weight, 0.10 tippet I think I was using. And small black dries to rising fish, so that was great.
Première.
Non, en fait, c'est par ici, là-haut.
I'm going to make a change as well. I'm going to grease the back end of my leader up more so that when I strike it lifts off cleaner, because the last 2 brokers, because the leader had gone down at the back. Just work something else right at the end.
What's that?
Orange nymph. I've put it, last 2 fish I've dropped it on, I've just turned straight round, neating it in the side.
Okay.
To be honest, if I had to guess, it's probably a shrimp or something I think it is.
Okay. So those 2 were sight now.
Them 2 were at side dry fly fished in the edge.
Okay.
Thought the nymph would spook them, but we just put it on there in the end, it's gone in, fish turn around and straight away and ate it. So, another lesson. Messy.
You say you're going to do something different this time of year?
Well, I was going to pull, but it looks like I've got no but weed. So I don't know. Have a look.
When the fish stopped rising, it got really interesting. I found quite a few fish and some quite big rainbows actually hiding under the big boulders right in the edge of the lakes on some of the sessions. And I caught them usually sight nymphing. And what I was doing was, if I found you could see sort of like these little dark caverns under these great big rocks right in the side, and I would either bow and arrow cast or just flick in just a leaded nymph, about an 18 or a little bit bigger actually, like a small 16, and let it drop. And what would happen, it would drop down past this little entrance, and you couldn't see anything, you couldn't see any fish in them, but it looked like a place one could hide. And it would, as it would drop down, all of a sudden the fish would just swim out and pick it up.
That was me again.
And then with typically bigger fish as well, I had some nice rainbows and browns from under these rocks, and it was just very, very interesting fishing. Occasionally fishing at range, so it was just very varied. It was everything from creeping around the edge and fishing literally under the banks to throwing at range and then trying to get, you know, lightly hooked fish back from a great distance.
Yeah. That was good. We've had a couple more, but
That's ecstatic, was it?
yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. Start down there on that corner. Take that any day of the week, especially since we didn't really know the lake very well. Should put me somewhere, hopefully. Definitely not the bottom, and I enjoyed that kind of fishing, so just got to walk down the hill now.
Again, you know, a few things cost me a few extra fish. If I'd have known the venues a little bit better, I would have got on to what to do when they weren't rising quicker, because it was very specific the way that I worked out how to catch them. One of the big keys was always just to keep going to structure. If you had any structure in your beat, go to the structure. If the fish weren't out and feeding, they were in the structure. You know, it sounds dead straightforward when you say it like that, but when you're turning up at a lake after 2 hours of hiking in the blazing sun, you're looking at a beat that's probably half a mile, 3/4 of a mile in length, because you've got two anglers on one whole lake, and you've got 20 minutes to scout it all and work out where the fish are and come up with a plan. It's not a lot of time, but all in all, much better day today, and yeah, it was good.
Good. 21.
I thought.
But Spanish 21.
Biggest
You?
12. Okay. Good. Too long to understand how to fish.
How to fish? For me too, the same.
In most championships I've fished, certainly over the last few years, I've nearly always managed to finish in the top 3 or win a session or top 5. And at the minute, going into the last session tomorrow, I've had a 6th and a 5th. So I'd like to improve again from that. You know, a lot of personal pride at stake.